All right, goats in a bad way coming out of week 4. Chris, you're up.
I'm going to go with the Saints defense right off the bat. I mean, come on. Saints defense supposed to be like the heart and soul of that football team. They had a 21-10 in the fourth quarter. The Giants offense has been inconsistent, hasn't been able to pass protect all that well, right? Has all those like narratives around it. Well, they pass protected really well, and Danny Dimes just diced them up, all the way through the fourth quarter with big plays into the overtime. I think it's got to be the shocker, of the weekend to me, as far as I thought the Giants could keep it close, but I didn't think that they would win a game, especially in that fashion, down 21-10 on the road in the Superdome. That I think the Saints D, I got to give them all, the GOAT award for this one, which I still have a problem with our draft name, the GOAT in a bad way. Like, what? We got to think of a new one.
Well, because GOAT used to be inherently bad, but then at some point GOAT became good because everybody called it GOAT, greatest of all time. So you're overruled. You're overruled. Urban Meyer, for all reasons discussed earlier in the program, plus not kicking the field goal at the end of the first half and going up 3 scores. Oh. Always go up 3 scores. 3 scores could have been 17-0. A much different vibe in the second half for the Bengals if they're down 17 instead of 14. That's my GOAT number 1.
Yeah,
round 2.
That's a good one. That really is. I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. You're at the 1-yard line like that, but yeah, I'm still old school in the fact that I favor traditional tactics in a lot of ways as far as that's concerned. Like you said, go up 3 scores. Make that team go down the field and 2 touchdowns and a field goal to beat you. It's
psychologically.
It's a psychological difference. Exactly right. There's a psychological difference to the offense when they go, we got to do it 3 times as compared to just 2. There is something to that. We saw it a little last night with the Raiders. Hey, they've done 2 scores the whole year. 3 scores, different ball game. All right. I think, I'm going to go, there's not a lot of like goats that jump out to me this week in a bad way, okay? So I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield here, all right? Baker Mayfield, for 2 weeks in a row, has not played good football. Just as I was starting to go, damn, he's the man, and I don't know how anybody could question him. The game against the Bears wasn't good last week. It wasn't. I mean, he missed throws, reads, everything. It was all over the place. And, again, I haven't watched the film of the Minnesota game, but it looked all over the place to me as well. I know I saw a number of missed throws, a number of wobbly balls, dicey decisions, 15 for 33. And I'm not a stat guy. I don't care about all that. It's the way it looked. And I think that's concerning. Mike, he's gotten into, I got to throw it as hard as I can. Let my arm whip and my head fly around every throw. And I just want to go, why? Why? You got so much arm. What are you worried about? The first 2 weeks of the year, you were throwing dimes everywhere. And now it's like, I got to throw it 108 miles per hour. 104 is not good. And it's cost him. And he has not played well the last 2 weeks.
Next one for me, and Chris, you weren't here yesterday when we talked about the Patriots-Bucks game. Bill Belichick. I still, and the more I think about it, and I've slept on it twice now, you don't kick that 56-yard field goal at the end of the game. Even if it's good, you've given Tom Brady enough time to do what Aaron Rodgers did to the 49ers a week earlier. They were going to lose that game one way or the other when they lined up to kick that field goal. They're either going to make it and Brady's going to go down and the Bucs are going to make another one, or you're going to miss it. It's 56 yards, not 36, not 26, not even 46. 56 in the rain to give Tom Brady a chance to drive down the field and win the game. I think that no matter how many rings, no matter how many times you got to change the name on the back of your boat, 8 rings, 9 rings, 10 rings, you're not above criticism. That was a huge mistake, and they should have gone for it on 4th and 3. If they'd converted, they very well may have won the game.
Well, and that and the other one that I still just the fact that they didn't have the right personnel and had to waste that one timeout there. What was that? Early fourth quarter, right? That was an odd one too. Altogether. So. I hear you there. All right. I don't know where I want to go here. I got a few different things I could go here. There's a part of me that, wants to do Davis Mills because it's low-hanging fruit, all right? But
what about David Culley? He came out and said he didn't have the team ready. You got extra days.
Not even gonna, I know. Listen, I'm not even going to go there because I didn't expect them to beat the Bills. And like you said, the Bills might be the best team in football. I do think it proves that Davis Mills is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, but we'll talk about that another day. I'm going to go to Chase Young. Yeah, I am. I know they won. I'm picking 2 guys that won. But Where's the pass rush for the Washington football team? Where is Chase Young? You know?
Well, if you graze the quarterback, you get flagged.
Well, that was a bullcrap call. You're right about
boy,
that. That was one of those. That was a horrible freaking call. There's one where you're going, what? I mean, we need to show that later in the week. That might be my grievance for tomorrow. But, again, it's the front four that's underwhelming for Washington at this point. And Chase Young he's not looked like the number 2 pick of the draft from 2 years ago. I'm sorry, he hasn't. So there needs to be more there from him on the edge. And you know, again, he's a physical specimen, but I'm not sure he's the most gifted pass rusher in the world. He's a little bit stiff. It's always just let me run into the guy and see if I can push him back. And I worry about him a little that way. So I'm going to pick him, even though it's really like that whole Washington D-line that needs to step their game up.
I'm thinking about Randy Bullock, but I'm going to go with the Vikings offensive line because as that game went on, they just got overpowered, and it got to the point where they could have played another 60 minutes and the Vikings wouldn't have scored any more points. It felt fruitless, and I know at the end of the game they got in position. We talked about Adam Thielen being held in the end zone. That was the only thing. That was the aberration. It was suffocation of the Minnesota offense after the opening drive of the game when the Vikings went right down the field and scored. And I know it's Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney and some great defensive players, but, you know, you're going to have great defensive players. And they neutralized Myles Garrett for a lot of the game. But to only score 7 points at home, inexcusable, and I blame that on the offensive line.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, that Cleveland D's got it rolling right now, but I certainly wasn't expecting that either. We've seen Minnesota kind of move the ball on everybody for the most part over the last year and a half. I mean, everybody. But I think it was a little bit, too, of one of those, like, where the coaching staffs had so much knowledge of each other. Maybe that played a big factor into it. But, yeah, not good enough by their offense.
And, you know, as we're now smitten with the facial expressions of Steve Belichick, and that's going to create a platform for him that propels him to be a head coach, let's start paying attention to Joe Woods. Joe Woods, the Browns defensive coordinator, is doing some damn good things with that defense.
No doubt.
So as we start scribbling the names, let's start putting some cameras on Joe Woods because I think he should be on the list for consideration.
Big rebound after that week 1 poor performance against the Chiefs.
Yes.
They were kicking butt now.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.